The final Sunday in September. Beautiful afternoon in northern New Jersey as we get set for the Jets and the Lions. Downstairs to Tony Siragusa. Goose, I know you have defense on your mind.
Absolutely, Kenny, absolutely. You know what? Looking at both of these teams, one thing that really stands out to me is they both have dominating defensive lines. They're probably the top two best defensive lines in the league. And you know what? Today's outcome is going to be decided by one of those groups.
All right, Goose. Jim Caldwell, former head coach in Indianapolis, first season with the Lions, home wins over the Giants and Packers. They lost in Carolina week 2. Rex Ryan and the Jets 1-2. Beat the Raiders here at home, lost in Green Bay, and then Monday night at the hands of the Bears. Lions won the toss, elected to defer. Sam Martin will get things started. Salim Hakeem is back deep for the Jets. Start at their own 20-yard line. Led out onto the field by the second-year quarterback out of West Virginia, Geno Smith, 20th career start.
And as every young quarterback starts his career, looking for improvement in year 2, and a lot of people have seen it. You know, his teammates, the coaching staff, they've seen the small strides this season so far, but it's those big glaring mistakes of decision-making that have really cost Geno Smith and this Jets team.
Looks like we're going to have a re-kick here, guys.
So the Jets offense back to the sidelines as Martin will tee it up once again. Bit of an issue with the referee Walt Coleman's microphone. Hakeem back deep. Coleman will tee it up at the 30.
I think the coaches are as puzzled as we are.
And the fans.
And it's right at the 30. I mean, there was no flag thrown. It's not at the 35. It's not at the 25. I'm at a loss, Goose.
Just want to get a little extra sun out here, I think.
All right, take 2. Off the crossbar, through the uprights in your direction, Goose. So here comes Geno Smith onto the field once again.
Take 2, like you said, Kenny. And this is an offense that they've been moving between the 20s efficiently, but it's down in the red zone, and they really struggled against the Chicago Bears last Monday night in the red zone. You can see the numbers right there at the start. Those are good numbers, completion percentage, the yards, but it's the last one, the 4 interceptions.
Chris Ivory in the backfield. Eric Decker split out wide to the left, and it's Decker who left the game on Monday night in the first half due to a hamstring injury. Decker gains 11 on first down.
And I think one of the other things that was talked a lot about here in New York this week, not only about maybe a quarterback change, but also the running game. Can we get Chris Ivory some more touches in that running game? What are we doing there? And Marty Morningwake, the offensive coordinator, also told us I can do a better job helping Geno Smith with the running game.
From the 31 on first down, it is Ivory up the middle. Good second effort. Out to the 36. Gain of 5 for the former New Orleans Saints as we check out the #1 ranked defensive unit in the NFL.
A good plan to want to run the football more, but you better put some bodies on those guys up front. Like Tony said, this is a very aggressive, physical defensive front, and really the big question, both of these secondaries a little bit nicked up. How does the passing game play a role in today's matchup?
3 tight end set for the Jets. Again, it is Ivory. Ivory out to the 40. Picks up 4. It will be 3rd down at 1.
I tell you, Chris Ivory right now, watching him on film last week against the Bears, you know, it is as physical and as violent a running back I've seen. I mean, he's like a smaller version of Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, he runs angry. That's the best way to describe how he runs.
Jets keep the 3 tight ends on the field. Sudfeld shifts into the backfield. It is Ivory. And Chris Ivory on his 3rd straight carry picks up a first down out to the 45-yard line. A gain of 5.
And one of the things that coaches will always talk about with a young quarterback, things that they can lean on, are the running game and also a good defense. And if we can get both of these components, you know, the defensive side of the ball doing their job, and I think it's just more of a commitment to the run when you have somebody that's running as physically as Chris Ivory right now.
Offensive coordinator Marty Morningwood, former Lions head coach, the toss to Chris Johnson. First carry today for the longtime Tennessee Titan. And it's Johnson out to the 46, gain of just 1. Zamir Whitehead made the tackle.
And we started off talking Chris Ivory, but let's not forget about Chris Johnson and his big play potential. Really kind of keeps those defenses honest. You know, he's got that speed to break away. Bilal Powell, they've got a great trio of running backs that they can throw at you.
Jets stay with Johnson in the backfield. 3 receivers set. Smith rolling right. And the catch is made in Lions territory by Eric Decker. Stopped just shy of another first down by Darius Slay, a gain of 8.
You know, Darryl, you talked about this offense and how Marty Morningwood can go and help out. He's doing a great job on this particular drive of going and giving them nice runs up the middle, a little bit outside, nice short passes to give this offense a little bit of confidence.
Ivory back in, 3rd down and 1. Bunch formation to the left. Smith hands it off, it's Ivory, stutter step, and another Jets first down as Ivory takes it to the Detroit 41. Jets second in the league in rushing over the first 3 weeks, averaging 157 yards per game on the ground.
That's a good start to the game by Marty Morningwood. Let your quarterback come in and get comfortable at the start of the game.
Ivory up the middle. Ivory stays on his feet and is finally brought down at the 32-yard line. Gain of 9. Caron Reed, the rookie out of Princeton, made the tackle.
Just very impressed right now with this offensive line of the New York Jets. This is a very, very good defensive front, and they're opening up some good running lanes for the Jets running backs.
Jets averaging just under 5 yards per carry. It is Ivory again, another first down. Takes it inside the Lions 25.
And one of the ways they will keep you off balance is the number of formations that you're going to see in this running game. You're going to see zone read. You're going to see a pistol. Right there, you've got the diamond formation with the quarterback there, offset with 2 blocking backs and the running back behind. So they're going to give the Detroit Lions a ton to think about pre-snap, even in the run game.
Ivory 6 carries over the first 9 plays. This is the 10th play of the drive for the Jets. And the 7th time, Smith has handed it off to Ivory. And Chris Ivory has yet another Jets first down inside the 20. Down to the 13.
I really enjoyed Rex Ryan's quote about Chris Ivory this week. There's not a lot of people in the NFL that want to tackle this guy right now. Open field right there, and you've got your safety coming up. I mean, look at Glover Quinn. He's as good as you can possibly be, trying to get under the pad level of Chris Ivory.
All right, so now the Jets are in the red zone where they have had their issues. Only 1 touchdown in 6 red zone possessions Monday night against Chicago. It is Ivory yet again. Inside the 10, down to the Lions 9. DeAndre Levy made the tackle over their first 3 games. Jets in 12 trips inside the red zone, only 4 touchdowns. Worst percentage in the league.
And you've got to be able to run the ball when you get into the red zone. The table really tips to the defensive side because there's so much less ground for them to cover in the passing game.
2nd and 6 from the 9. No surprise, it's Ivory. And this time he is bottled up by Ndamukong Suh, the 3-time Pro Bowler.
The one good thing Suh does right here is just goes and drives the guys he's on right to the backfield. Goes and lowers his shoulders, does a great job of coming down the line of scrimmage, finding Ivory and wrapping him up.
I didn't like the blocking scheme there, Tony. You're asking Breno Giacomini to cut him off. He's too quick inside.
3 tight ends. 13th play of the drive. Smith on 3rd down. forced to throw it away through the back of the end zone.
Good decision right there by Geno Smith.
This is a really good decision, Tony, because it's been the one thing we've talked about all the way down the field. But what are you going to do? And you're going to see everybody go back into coverage. You've got 4 deep here. Let's see if they drop into that quarters cover. Yeah, they're backing off. They're going to force you to throw that underneath. Everybody's covered. Understand the value of a possession, and when you have the opportunity for points, you can't let them slip through your fingers.
Jets drive 71 yards, but forced to settle for a Nick Folk field goal attempt from 27 yards away from the left hash. The kick is straight through. So the Jets take a 3-0 lead. The workhorse, Chris Ivory, 51 yards on the Jets' opening drive. 3-0 lead for the Jets. Chris Ivory, 51 yards on 9 carries. Nick Folk, 27-yard field goal. And now Folk will kick it off with Jeremy Ross back deep for the Lions. Ross lets it go through. The Lions will start at their 20. Megatron, Calvin Johnson, sprained ankle during the week. He's ready to go. 3-0 Jets. Lions start from their own 20-yard line. 3 wide receivers set. Reggie Bush in the backfield. On first down, Matthew Stafford handing it off to Bush. And he is brought down at the line of scrimmage by David Harrison and Demario Davis. 287 yards per start for Matthew Stafford. That is number 1 in NFL history.
I know the game has changed quite a bit over the years, but when we stumbled across that stat, that really says it all. Very impressive.
Second down and 8. Joyce Bell in the backfield. Stafford throws for the first time. And Darren Walls wraps up Golden Tate, his teammate at Notre Dame. Gain of 3, 3rd down and 5 coming up for the Lions.
And a key guy in having the ability to have a stat like that for Matthew Stafford is Calvin Johnson. And in my opinion, the most dominant player besides a quarterback. You lose a quarterback, it alters your game plan. It impacts your plan so much. Calvin Johnson is on that level. If he is not in the lineup, this is a completely different Lions team.
3rd down and 5. Lions must get to the 30. Play clock at 2. Stafford looking left, now throws over the middle. It's Tate for a first down and more into Jets territory. Finally brought down inside the 40 by Antonio Allen, a 35-yard pass play.
Coming out of the bunch, it's Golden Tate right here in the middle. Just a trips to the left side, little stutter and go, gets in between the zone right there, and then not a good job by the Jets in pursuit, an opportunity to reduce the number of yards gained right there by Golden Tate.
Last time Tate was on this field, Super Bowl 48 with the Seahawks. From the Jets 39, Stafford. Pass intended for Joyce Bell. 2nd and 10 upcoming. Time for a game break to Los Angeles. Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, Lions fans, keep an eye on this NFC North matchup between the Bears and Packers. Chicago strikes first. Brandon Marshall, 6-yard score from Jay Cutler. And just like that, 7-0. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, Kurt. Bears were here on Monday night. Beat the Jets 27-19. 3 receivers set. 2nd and 10. Bell in the backfield. This is Joyce Bell. And he's tackled from behind by Muhammad Wilkerson. Jets defense ranked 2nd in the league over the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, this is an impressive group up front, like Tony said. And it all stops, not just stopping the run. When we talk to Demario Davis, the one thing he told us, this is not about stopping the run, it's about physically stopping the run. And this is a tough physical group up front. If you're going to gain any yards, your running backs are going to be sore tomorrow afternoon.
Ross. And he's tackled at the 34-yard line. Jawan Landry makes the stop. So the Lions will now send out the field goal unit. They have a new kicker, Alex Henry, the ex-Eagle, brought in this week to replace the rookie out of Boston College, Nate Freeze, who missed 4 of 7 field goal attempts. So it is Henry, released by the Eagles in late August. This will be a 51-yard attempt. His career long is 51. From the left hash, Henry's kick is good, matching his career high on his first attempt as a Detroit Lion. So Matthew Stafford leads the Lions into field goal position. We are tied at 3. Each team with a field goal on their opening possession. Jets and Lions tied at 3. Sam Martin boots it into the end zone. Hakeem thought about coming out and then takes a knee. Geno Smith and a Jets offense when we return. Calvin Johnson, middle of the screen, was not on the field on the Lions' last play from scrimmage, but the report from the sideline, he is fine.
Yeah, we went back and took a look and didn't see him limping or anything and leaving the field, so keep you updated on that.
Chris Ivory in the backfield. Smith looking to throw on first down. He was under pressure, and he throws it away.
.52 Darryl Topp going to come off the edge.
That's Chris Ivory's guy right here. You'll see. Just got to do a little better job of blocking. I mean, he can run real good, but he's got to work on the blocking moves.
Well, you got to be able to do all 3 in the backfield, Tony. You got to be able to run with the ball, block, and be a good receiver. And right there, you know, the flash by Tommy Bohannon to slow him down. But
now all 3 backs are in for the Jets. Ivory, Johnson, and Bilal Powell.
And the quarterback keeps it.
And it's DeAndre Levy makes the tackle with all 3 backs in the backfield on that play for the Jets.
And I really think that this is one of the things that kind of gives you some fits. I mean, we talked about how good they are. Now you've got all 3 of them, and here comes one of the things that's going to force Detroit to really think in this run game. You know, it's the multiplicity of what comes out of that. You're going to see zone read. You're going to actually see option with motion from away from the formation to become the pitch man. It's a tough running game to defend.
Now it's Powell, 3rd down and 9. As Smith steps up. And the catch is made at the 25-yard line by the tight end, Jay Samara. Did Smith have running room there?
You know what, Kenny, we talk about decisions, and this is bizarre. He has got enough green in front of him to convert the first down without a doubt, probably by 7-8 yards. But then he stops and throws across the field. So number one, the decision not to tuck away the ball and get the first down, but then to stop and throw across the field.
Ryan Quigley will punt it away. Jeremy Ross back deep for the Lions. Terrific kick taken at the 15 by Ross. Ross now to the 28-yard line, a 58-yard punt by Quigley. 3.5 to go, first quarter. Jets and Lions deadlock at 3. Calvin Johnson back on the field. Detroit 1st and 10 from their 29-yard line. Push the long back. Stafford a punt fake, and now it's Reggie Bush out of the backfield. Out across the 30, Mario Davis made the tackle. As Goose talked about earlier, 2 of the best defensive lines in the entire league.
Little love for the big guys up front, Goose.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll tell you what, Detroit surprised me a little bit on that first drive. You know, the Jets seemed like they took a little bit of advantage of that defensive line, but I think they're both number 1 and number 2 in this league. And obviously the statistics that you just saw backs it up.
Once again, Calvin Johnson out of the game on the sideline, 2nd down and 8. Theo Riddick in the backfield, and the play is blown dead. False start, Lions.
False start, number 70, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Right tackle Garrett Reynolds. Time for a game break. Kurt.
Well, you saw the Bears take a 7-0 lead. The Packers have answered. Kenny Lacy fights his way in from 2 yards out. All even at 7 late in the first quarter. Getting loose and goose.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Calvin Johnson back in. Reggie Bush as well, 2nd and 13. Here's Calvin. Matched up with Antonio Allen. Stafford on 2nd down, over the middle, complete, and a nice spin move by Golden Tate, who picks up a Lions first down after the 48-yard line, a 23-yard pass play.
He does a really good job at doing a lot of the dirty work in the passing game. As the complementary wide receiver, he's going to come off of here, and he's going to work the inside against the linebacker. What a tremendous matchup by formation right there to get Golden Tate. He's a physical runner after the catch, and I really think, they really targeted him in the offseason to bring him in. They've been searching for that complementary guy opposite Calvin Johnson for a while.
Yeah, David Harris, the linebacker that you saw in that coverage, you can't let him just run him free. He's got to bump him on that line of scrimmage.
With Johnson back on the sidelines, it's Bush who slips, takes it into Jets territory. Gain of 3. Talk about Golden Tate. He and Eric Decker among the top wide receivers in free agency during the offseason. Tate signed with the Lions, Decker here with the Jets. Johnson still on the sidelines. No reception so far today. Golden Tate has 3. Corey Fuller split wide to the right. Empty backfield. Bush, bottom of your screen, split wide to the left. 2nd and 7. Stafford over the middle. Shy of a first down. Tackled at the 43-yard line is Tate by Calvin Pryor.
Matthew Stafford is really doing a nice job of getting that ball out fast, Moose.
He really is, and it's a different offense for him. This is tough on a quarterback. You've been in that similar system your entire career, and all of a sudden, Jim Caldwell comes in. They make a change, and you're adjusting to that. He says they see improvement week in and week out, but it's a pretty different style of offense than he was used to playing under Scott Linehan.
They're down at 1. Johnson split out to the left. Bell in the backfield and Stafford on the sneak. And Matthew Stafford has a Lions first down to the Jets 40. As time winds down in this first quarter with the Lions on the move, tied at 3. The NFL on Fox will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Jets went ground and pound on their opening drive. Settled for a field goal. Lions tied it on a 51-yard Alex Henry kick. And now, as we start the second quarter, Lions with a new set of downs from the Jets 40. Calvin Johnson split out to the left. Stafford on first down, under pressure, and he throws it away. Jets hoping for a flag.
Yeah, surprised there was no flag on this one. Looked like Matthew Stafford was just a little deep. I don't think he got the ball to the line of scrimmage.
Well, he just has to have somebody in the vicinity, Tony. It looked like a screen pass that was sent up. So let's keep an eye on Joy Bell. They're going to throw it on him.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody there standing right behind him.
Intentional grounding. Number 9 of the offense. Lost it down at the spot of the foul. 2nd down.
They've become a little bit more liberal with the intentional grounding, but Joique Bell was up inside with the other players, and Matthew Stafford threw that out to the side where nobody was. So you got to at least make an effort to get it in the vicinity of the eligible receiver.
Absolutely. Tell you, Kenny talked about the weather, man. I'll tell you, it's they're saying it's 80 degrees, but down here on this field, they had a game here last night. Syracuse and Notre Dame, they must have watered it down a little bit. The humidity coming off this field, it feels like 95 compared to 80 down here. So we'll see how these big guys go and deal with that.
And that game ended, Goose, just prior to midnight. 31-15 Irish. Sorry, Darryl.
We don't need to talk about that game anymore.
Sorry, Darryl.
2nd and 23 as Stafford steps up and now fires downfield. Pass intended for Golden Tate. 3rd and very long coming up for the Lions.
Against some pressure up front by the Jets, and this is what Matthew Stafford is going to have to battle all day. He told us the Jets are based on bringing pressure or giving you the illusion that pressure is coming, and you're not going to be right 100% of the time trying to navigate that with your decisions, but you just can't have that critical mistake.
Johnson now matched up with Darren Walls, not Antonio Allen. Third down and 23. It's a screen to Bell, and he's down at the 45-yard line. Terrific tackle made by Mario Davis. Loss of 2 on the play, so the Lions forced to punt.
I think it's interesting right now. We've checked in with the Lions bench area, and they say that there's nothing wrong with Calvin Johnson, that it's just that they're going with different personnel groups and different plays that he's not a part of it. That makes absolutely no sense to me. If I've got Calvin Johnson and he can play, he is on the field because you have to account for him.
Everybody's nervous when he's on the field, and you know the secondary and the safeties, everybody's aware of where he is. So he's a deterrent just being out there.
Now for the Jets, Jalen Saunders muffed a punt on Monday night, so it's Walter Powell back deep. Saunders inactive today, and punt sails into the end zone, so the Jets will start from their 20 in a 3-3 game. Week 4 continues later today on Fox, and for some of you on CBS. Then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. Goose mentioned the college game here at MetLife last night. Great job by our technical crew. They were here at 3 a.m. setting up following the conclusion of Syracuse and Notre Dame.
Cannot thank our crew enough. I mean, that is unbelievable commitment, and it is greatly appreciated, guys. No, you're not working on a whole lot of sleep.
Yeah, they did a great job.
On first down, it's Chris Johnson.
This is where some of the discussion came up during the week, Kenny, because of what we've seen from Chris Ivory, and we really haven't seen that same impactful style from Chris Johnson yet. You know, he's got the ability to go to the distance on every snap, but you know, it just Chris Ivory, he just sets a tone when he's carrying the ball.
9 carries, 51 yards for Ivory on the Jets' opening drive. Johnson remains in, second down and 8. Off the fake to Johnson, Smith throws, and it's incomplete. Decker, the intended receiver. Rasheem Mathis on the coverage.
Nice job by that offensive line of picking up the pressure. Geno Smith has plenty of time here, just a little elevates the throw a little bit too much for Decker. Still should have caught that ball, though.
Yeah, don't take it easy on him, Goose.
Yeah.
Hold him accountable.
So now third down and 8. Bilal Powell has checked in. Bunch formation to the right. And now the Jets empty the backfield. They must get to the 30. Smith on third down. He is out of bounds at the 25, 5-yard stride. So the Jets, for the second straight possession, forced to punt it away.
The helmet's flying all over the field. There's one of the Jets guys. Oh, there it is right there at the bottom of your screen.
Ricochet Ferguson knocked off by Ziggy Ansah.
No hands to the face called on that one either, huh, Kenny?
No flags. Walt Coleman's crew, they have thrown the second fewest flags over the first 3 weeks, 12 per game. Here's one.
Maybe they get away by that, like the opening kickoff when they don't throw a flag.
That's right.
Still
False
penalized
start,
for 5.
number 38, offense, 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
Laquan Lewis, the guilty Jet, will force Quigley back 5 yards. They haven't worked in their technique the last 3 weeks, the officials on this crew. Clean games. Fair catch is called for by Ross, and it looked like it hit off the helmet of Lewis, and then rolls out of bounds. One more look. Ross waiting. A header. Tied at 3 here at MetLife. The Lions will start from their 31-yard line. It was ruled a first touch off the helmet of Laquan Lewis, so the ball spotted at the 31 where it made contact with the Jet player's helmet. First and 10 for the Lions. Off the fake to Riddick. Stafford slips and down he goes. Back at the 21-yard line, Sheldon Richardson. So we'll take you back to the punt, and we bring in Mike Pereira from Los Angeles. Mike, what did you see?
Yeah, I did a very good job of getting the fact that it touched him first in the helmet. Was it interference? That's my concern. The fair catch signal is giving, but he's coming off a block, so he's basically absolved of that. And I think they did a good job of laying off the interference call just because of that blocking.
All right, thanks, Mike. And because it touched the Jet first, if the ball had stayed in bounds and the Lions picked it up, even if they fumbled, it would not matter. It would be Detroit football because a Jet touched it first, and Stafford's pass sails out of bounds. He was looking for the tight end, Eric Ebron.
And Antonio Allen, he's an ex-safety, so he's used to dealing with big bodies. He was going to draw Calvin Johnson, who's been in and out of the lineup all afternoon. And you can see right there, he is stride for stride, but he has gone against Jimmy Graham. He goes against Rob Gronkowski from the Patriots twice a year from that safety spot. They move him up to corner. They have the confidence in him playing against these big-bodied receivers.
And Darryl, Calvin Johnson back off the field on the sidelines, 3rd and 19. Detroit must get to the 41. Stafford dumps it off. It's Bell. And Bell runs into a brick wall. David Harris at the 30-yard line, so the Lions will punt it away after the 9-yard pickup.
Okay, we had Detroit at Green Bay last year, one of the games that Calvin Johnson missed. I thought this team was ready to take that step, that they had gotten enough people around him offensively. Their defense was playing well, that they may be able, at that point, to persevere without him in the lineup. And I was sorely mistaken. I mean, this is a completely different team when Calvin Johnson is not out there. And I don't know why he's going in and out with the excuse that he's just being formation and personnel group to the sideline by game plan. I mean, he would be in every single package I had.
Detroit Lions tell us he's okay. Dangerous scoop there by Walter Powell, the rookie out of Murray State. Lions and Jets still tied at 3. Jets drove 71 yards on their opening drive. Heavy dose of Chris Ivory. Not much since, and now they go back to Ivory. And the first Lion in onto the tackle, the former Jet making his season debut for the Lions, James Ahedebo.
And that's a nice tackle, nice hit by James Ahedebo, because he's got Chris Ivory in the backfield, gets to him before he's able to gain some momentum. Down low, take the legs away.
Ahedebo missed the first 3 games due to a neck issue. Loss of 4 on the play, now second and 14 as Smith hands it off. It's Ivory. He falls forward out to the 24, and we head west for a game break with Joel Klatt. Joel?
All right, Kenny, Steve Smith scored 67 touchdowns as a Carolina Panther. Chalk up one against the Carolina Panthers. Steve Smith up the tip from Owen Daniels. He's in the end zone. 7-0 Ravens over the Panthers. Back to New York. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
All right, thanks, Joel. One of the all-time greats down in Carolina, doing it against his former club. Third down and 7. Jets must get to the 32. And the catch is made, but stopped short is David Nelson. And he is shaken up, grabbing his left foot. David Nelson, the 5th-year receiver out of Florida, former Buffalo Bill. After the Jets lost Decker for most of the game on Monday night. Injured on the tackle by Mathis. Ryan Quigley will punt it away for the Jets. Jeremy Ross back deep for the Lions. Another terrific kick by Quigley and a fair catch at the 17-yard line. Well, we have the top 2 defensive units in the NFL over the first 3 weeks, as highlighted by Goose. So, any surprise that it's 3-3?
Kind of shows, doesn't it? Neither one of these offenses really able to get on track. The Jets had a very nice opening drive. Chris Ivory doing all the tough work and haven't been able to reestablish. I think it's going to be difficult for both of these teams to run on the opposition defense. So it's going to be one of the quarterbacks that's going to have to step up and make a play in this passing game. The interesting thing for the Lions is with Calvin Johnson kind of battling that ankle injury, not being involved in the game plan as much as we would anticipate. That'll be even a bigger challenge. And, you know, both of these defenses, we talk about the front, but it's the back end where there's some injuries and maybe some opportunities for some matchup issues, and they haven't been able to get to those.
Well, Calvin Johnson came into the huddle, guys, and then he went and got replaced by somebody. He's back on the sideline again, so that ankle's got to be bothering him.
Yeah, because this will be the 18th play run by the Lions. He's been on the field for 12 and off now for 6, including 2 big third and longs for the Lions. Catches made at the 24-yard line by the rookie tight end, first-round pick out of North Carolina, Eric Ebron, for a gain of 7. Calvin Johnson back in.
And now the Jets, knowing that he's not 100% now with Antonio Allen, you're very confident that he's going to be able to maybe hang there one-on-one in situations. It'll be interesting to see if Rex Ryan and his defense is able to become more aggressive playing straight man-to-man on Calvin Johnson.
Second down and 3. It's Joyce Bell up the middle for a first down and more out across the Jets 40 to the 41, 17 yards for Bell.
Man, the middle of that defense just opened up like a can. Take a look at this right here. Joyce Bell just goes and, I mean, he doesn't get touched at all until he's 15, 20 yards down the field. Doesn't look like from here, Kenny. I don't know what the numbers are, but...
Yeah, you got up to the second level on both the linebackers, Tony. Demario Davis and David Harris both picked up on that.
Doing it against a Jets defense that has allowed only 55 yards on the ground per game over the first 3. Johnson stays in, first and 10 from the 41. Off the play action, down goes Stafford. For the second time, it is Muhammad Wilkerson.
There's the pressure that defensive line could bring, and they've been doing it all day. Matthew Stafford's just been getting rid of the ball. Great coverage on the back end also, Moose.
Now let's go out and see Calvin Johnson on the outside, matched up with Antonio Allen, coming down on an in route. Had the slip there. He's got him open, but just not enough time with that pressure up front by the Jets.
And Calvin Johnson on the end of that route looked like he was favoring that ankle even more. I don't know if it's bothering him, if they're just using him for a decoy. They got to look towards later on in the season, because this could be hurting him a little bit.
2 sacks for the Jets. They lead the league. Richardson and Wilkerson with sacks today. 2nd and 18. And the catch is made out across the 40 by the tight end, Brandon Pettigrew.
And this is an area where Matthew Stafford can kind of lean on right now. If Calvin Johnson is not 100%, if he's going to be in and out of the lineup as he leaves the field right now, let's lean on Brandon Pettigrew. Let's lean on Eric Ebron. Those are 2 big tight ends that pose matchup problems across the formation as well.
He leaves the field again on a 3rd and long. 3rd time in this first half. Lions must get to the Jets 49. Play clock is at 2. Stafford on 3rd and 10, a pump fake. And now he fires downfield for Jeremy Ross, who makes the catch and takes it in for a Lions touchdown. Stafford to Ross, 59 yards.
That's a cardinal sin by the Jets defense. I mean, we heard it from several of the players. What's the most important thing? The most important thing is not getting beat over the top, not letting somebody get behind you. And there's nothing fancy right there. Calvin Pryor comes down a little bit as the safety, but they're all at the same level. That was not a big double move to really freeze somebody. It looked like a breakdown in coverage right there. I think Antonio Allen thought he had help over the top, and Calvin Pryor was coming down.
Henry adds the extra point, so with Calvin Johnson on the sidelines, a career-long 59-yard reception by the ex-Green Bay Packer, Jeremy Ross. 10-3, Detroit. There's Jeremy Ross, 59-yard reception, first touchdown of the season.
You can tell them over and over and over again, Kenny, but executing that plan is a whole different story. When I say don't let anybody get over the top, I mean don't let anybody get over the top.
You just imagine how many times that the players have heard it, because we were there for 2 hours and we must have heard it 8 times, right?
At least.
Let's go back and take a look at this and try and figure out how you allow this to happen. So receiver is coming from here. Here's your safety that's going to bite. The big thing is on this route, it's very subtle. It's not like your big double move where, you know, you're a hard in route, and I just don't know what Calvin Pryor was focused on. I don't know how he got caught flat-footed, and the next thing you know, there goes Jeremy Ross running away from him.
Yeah, there was no other receiver in the middle of the field. There was no reason for him to stop his feet. He should be backpedaling, played everything in front of him.
Jets 3 straight 3-and-outs as Smith is out of bounds, and then some extracurricular activity on the sidelines. A couple of photographers down.
Yeah. Hope everybody's all right over there on the sideline. We've been talking about pressure by the Jets. Now it's the Lions with Jason Jones getting in. Anytime you see number 90, everybody's going to be suspicious. But I didn't see the contact to Geno Smith out of bounds.
Loss of 2. Nick Fairley credited with the sack. Second down and 12. Inside handoff. It's Ivory. Ivory out to the 25-yard line.
You know, they talk about hidden yardage. Darryl, every defense goes into a meeting on Monday, and they say, okay, the hidden yardage is after the first defensive player touches the guy with the ball and should make the tackle right there. How many yards past that are the hidden yardage? And I'll tell you what, I would hate to be a defense going into a meeting on Monday and have Chris Ivory being the running back.
Because he leads the league over the first 3 weeks in yards after contact among running backs. And now Smith could not handle the snap, falls on it back at the 8. So the Jets, for the 4th straight position, go 3-and-out.
Well, I don't know who this is on, if this is on Nick Mangold or Geno Smith, but I was hearing his cadence, and it doesn't, he's in the middle of his cadence right there. It's high, number 1, but Geno Smith is not ready for it. Now, one of the things that everybody talked about is Geno Smith having more control at the line of scrimmage, able to get in and out of bad plays, and that looked like a breakdown in communication with an audible and your center, because to me, he's in the process of working through a play change, and that ball is snapped.
So the Jets on their opening possession, 5 first downs, none since. Quigley punting from his end zone.
He's been a savior this afternoon. Holy cow.
What a kick. Fair catch back at the 31 by Ross. A 61-yard punt this time by Quigley. Geno Smith and the Jets searching for answers. 4 straight 3-and-outs, and now the Lions will take over at their 31.
And somebody's got to step up on this Lions offense and get some rhythm. It's been
flat.
It's
very
been
flat.
Yeah, there's nobody. I mean, all right, Calvin Johnson, we talked about him. I really do think, besides a quarterback, if you lose him, if the Lions don't have him on the field, it's as big a loss as any player in the NFL besides a quarterback. But Reggie Bush, Brandon Pettigrew, Eric Ebron, Joyce Bell, they've got a good offensive line. There's other players to make plays here, and they haven't been able to get them into a rhythm.
Theo Riddick in the backfield. He takes the handoff from Stafford. Riddick, one of a number of Lions who grew up in the New York, New Jersey area. Riddick out of Manville, New Jersey, won a state title during his high school days back in 2006, and now he will be replaced by the former Heisman Trophy winner, Reggie Bush.
A lot of good teams out of Manville, Kenny. One of the teams that I played in high school.
Big rivals of Kenilworth, huh?
Not rivals, but teams there. Tough people in Manville.
Second down and 8. Stafford on second down, and the catch is made at the 38. It's the first reception today for Calvin Johnson.
And the big thing is the immediate tackle and working on the outside. A little bit of coverage there, forcing him back in, and here comes Demario Davis. And there is nothing after the catch right there.
So the Lions now facing a 3rd down and 2. Stafford rolling right, pump fake, slips, and is down back at the 36. 3rd sack for the Jets, 2nd for Wilkerson.
Trying to elude this rush. Matthew Stafford working to the outside, plants, just loses his footing.
Calvin Pryor, the safety, in there.
Pryor and Wilkerson split the sack. Martin punting for the 3rd time. Walter Powell, rookie out of Murray State. Drafted in the 6th round by the Arizona Cardinals. Replacing Saunders. There is a flag as Powell is down at the 19. We'll check in with referee Walt Coleman.
Juan Lewis with a block on the back, right at the point of the catch.
All you got to do is just run with him, keep running with him.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 38 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
So the Jets force back, and we head to Los Angeles. Joel Klatt. Joel?
Kenny, we got a shootout brewing in Chicago. A nice little play design. Alshon Jeffrey looks like he's in motion, spins around, catches a swing pass from Jay Cutler. It's 17-14 Bears in Chicago. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Lions keeping a close eye on that one. Detroit and Chicago both 2-1 in the NFC North. Green Bay and Minnesota 1-2.
Not surprised to see a lot of offense in that one.
Well, following the penalty on special teams, this will be the worst starting field position for the Jets today. No 1st downs their last 4 possessions after their terrific opening drive. This is Ivory. Hands a couple, and there is a flag.
Offside. Number 90, defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
And Ndamukong Suh.
Coach Caldwell's not going to be happy with that. One of the big things that he has been trying to instill as he changes the culture with the Detroit Lions is discipline, being smart. So one of those things is when you're doing that is, you can't have these penalties. You can't have the silly penalties. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but you've got the Jets backed up. They have a nice stand on 1st down.
That is a 2-minute warning.
It's the Lions over the Jets. 10-3, 2-minute warning from MetLife. Full games, highlights, and more at iTunes.com/NFL. First and 5 for the Jets from their own 12-yard line. Smith hands it off. It's Ivory. Ivory out to the 14 to hear Whitehead first. Lion in on the tackle. Whitehead in the middle, replacing the injured Stephen Tulloch. For the Jets offense today, including the field goal, 14 plays, 71 yards, 5 first downs, none since over their last 4 possessions. Second down and 3. Smith looking for Jeremy Curley, who has been held without a catch so far today. The Jets leading receiver, 3rd and 3 upcoming.
And you can see Geno Smith having a conversation with Jeremy Curley right there. He expected him to come back out to the outside on that route. Very, very conservative game plan here in the 1st half by the New York Jets.
Had a look at backup quarterback Michael Vick on the sidelines. Movement prior to the snap.
False start, number 33, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's on Ivory.
Pretty funny being at Jets practice. Whenever there's a penalty on the field, the whole team, including the owner, the guys who are holding the sticks, everybody has to do 10 push-ups.
Looked like you wanted to join in on Friday, Goose.
No, I did not, Kenny.
Smith fires downfield. No flags. Eric Decker, whose wife sang the national anthem prior to the game today. Decker, the intended receiver, and the Jets, for the 5th consecutive drive, will punt it away.
Working at the bottom of your screen, just a straight go route, stride for stride. I like the no call. You had a couple of the guys raise their hands wanting to know what was going on. That's the hand checking that I think should be allowed in a situation like that when you're stride for stride on the same level.
The punter, Ryan Quigley, he's been one of the best Jets today, Darryl. His first 4 punts, all 50 yards or more. This one takes a Lions bounce. What's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report? We check in with Kurt.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, we'll get you caught up on all 7 early games. Steve Smith faces the Panthers for the first time as a Raven. And across the pond in London, Darren McFadden and the Raiders go for their first win of the season.
Hey, move out of the way. You're blocking my view.
Hi, Terry. Good to hear from you. Well, we jinxed Quigley. That punt, only 37 yards.
I knew you were going to do that, yeah.
First 4
You
average
do that,
55.
You didn't do that.
You changed it, Kenny.
Now the Lions, with all 3 timeouts, 1:08 remaining, start in Jets territory. The catch is made for a first down by Pettigrew to the Jets 36.
And an awful time to have that yardage on that punt backed up. The Lions are going to be in field goal position pretty quickly. You saw what Alex Henry did on that first kick from 51 yards.
Johnson, split wide to the left. Stafford on first down. Checks it down to Bush. And Reggie Bush is tackled at the 28-yard line by Davis. And now the Lions will use their first timeout. Stafford with a cut around his right wrist, also looks to be limping a bit.
Yeah, they've roughed him up quite a bit. You don't see the old turf burns anymore, Goose. You know, with the new infill systems here.
Especially at a quarterback, the way they protect them, man. I remember we used to get turf burns back in the day, Darryl. Oh, raspberries, all kinds of stuff. A lot of guys left a lot of skin on these turf fields back.
Stafford has been durable, Goose, making his 52nd consecutive start for the Lions. They have 2 timeouts. Already in field goal range for Henry. Second down and 1. Stafford, quick release on second down. And is taken out to the Jets' 16-yard line by Ebron. Another Lions first down. Well, this October, history will be made as baseball's postseason moves to America's new sports network. Fox Sports 1 is your new home for baseball's National League Division and Championship Series. It all gets underway on Friday.
Kenny, being a baseball guy, who you liking? Who you liking?
Boy, I think the Dodgers, you have to look at their pitching staff, Goose. Over in the American League, Orioles have had a great year. The Angels. How about a Beltway World Series? Orioles and Nats. There's Joe Lombardi, the Lions offensive coordinator. His grandfather Vince started his coaching career about 10 miles from here. St. Cecilia High School in Englewood, New Jersey, 7 decades ago.
Anytime you can get Vince Lombardi into the broadcast, you got to take it.
Absolutely. That's his grandson Joe, who won a Super Bowl ring working for the Saints. Stafford on first down. Throws it away.
And we've harped on Geno Smith and his issues with turnovers, but, you know, Matthew Stafford has battled that through his career. He had 21 as a rookie, and he's been in the top 10 the last 2 years with turnovers at the quarterback position. I think that's definitely one of the things that the Lions want to work on as he works with Joe Lombardi, making sure that he's making good decisions when there's points at stake.
Second and 10. his first NFL TD.
Really nice placement on the throw by Matthew Stafford on this. He's going to get it to the back shoulder to Eric Ebron. You've got good coverage by the Jets. He's going to come out of that closest spot down the seam, and you'll see David Harris is from the inside out, and Matthew Stafford puts it on that back shoulder. And a good catch by Eric Ebron to finish it for the touchdown.
Yeah, they only rushed 3 on that, so Matthew Stafford had plenty of time. Control of that ball.
Henry adds the extra point. It is now 17-3 Lions.
You mentioned it, Ryan Quigley just punting the ball unbelievable all afternoon, and the Lions defense makes a stand. They force a punt from deep in the end, just 36 yards, and Matthew Stafford takes advantage of the great field position, takes the Lions right down the field for another touchdown right here at the end of the half.
Second touchdown pass of the second quarter for Matthew Stafford.
Just great location on this. David Harris is in good position in that coverage, but Matthew Stafford puts it in a great spot.
Turf Burns limping a little bit, and he still throws a nice ball there.
So the Jets find themselves trailing by 14. They were down 14-0 early on Monday night here against the Bears.
Talked about the rhythm of Detroit Lions. It sort of went to the other side of the field there, Darryl. Looks like, it just feels that the Jets just aren't in a rhythm right now.
Hakeem takes it out. Hakeem out to the 24-yard line. Josh Bynes the tackle. 16 seconds remaining in the half. Well, for Geno Smith and the Jets offense, 5 straight 3-and-outs, 5 punts after that good opening drive, although they were held to a field goal.
One thing Geno can't do right here is try to force something and force a turnover right here.
This is Ivory, and there's a first down for the Jets. Their first since their opening drive. And the Jets will use their first timeout.
That's a long time right there, and it shows how inefficient this offense has been. It's just amazing to see the streaks. We had it last week in our game that we did with Dallas and St. Louis. That was really a tale of 2 first halves. St. Louis comes out, dominates, and then all of a sudden drifts, and then Dallas picks up at the end of the half. I mean, Geno Smith takes his offense out on the field and just methodically right down the field
dominates.
Yeah, struggle in the red zone, but you get the points. 3-0. You think you're going to come out and at least be able to match something similar to that the remainder of the half.
Do you think there's any chance the Jets would think about going to Michael Vick for a spark in the second half?
No, not at all. Not a spark.
Smith's pass incomplete, looking for Decker with 8 seconds on the clock. That took only 1 second.
I was going to say the same thing, Kenny. Fastest play ever in the history of the NFL.
Smith, just 4 completions. Ivory, 79 yards on the ground, 51 on that first possession. On second down, this one takes a little longer than a second, Goose. Through the hands of Decker. Darius Slay on the coverage, now down to 3 seconds.
With a situation like that, Eric Decker has to make this catch. It gives you the opportunity to line up for a long field goal attempt. It's going to be a tough catch, but that's why you were brought here. You were brought here to make these types of catches that have the opportunity to produce points.
The Jets offense here at MetLife Stadium. Only 4 completions for Geno Smith. 1 first down for the Jets following their opening possession. Lions by 14 to Los Angeles for the Visa halftime report. 17-3 Lions as we get set for the third quarter. Today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan. Couple of touchdown passes in the second quarter for Matthew Stafford, 16 of 21. 209 yards, and the Lions, who won the toss at the start of the game, elected to defer, so they will get the ball first here in the second half. Derby Ross with one of the Detroit touchdowns on a 59-yard reception. Ross from 3 yards deep. Out to the 15-yard line. So after a good start by the Jets offense, they stalled 5 consecutive punts, and the Lions with a couple of touchdowns in the second quarter.
Well, when we talked at the top, we talked about Geno Smith and not making the critical turnover. I think he is still trying to validate trust in the staff that he won't do that. The game planning, the way the play was called during the course of the first half, he's got 30 net yards passing. They've rushed the ball for 4.5 yards per carry. They're only throwing per attempt at 2.3. I don't think Marty Mornhinweg really fully trusts Geno Smith in these situations that he won't make that critical turnover.
Joey Bell on first down, out to the 20, Goose.
Yeah, I got a chance to talk to both coaches. Jim Caldwell said in the second half, one thing we need to do better is run the ball. He's happy with the way his offense scored 2 touchdowns, obviously. He wants to run the ball, and he said, Calvin Johnson, he's limited. I'm trying to put him in situations where he could be at least successful, catch the ball. And then I got a chance to talk to Rex. He was not happy at all. He was very upset. He said all week we talked about not letting people get over the top. We talked about it on this telecast right here. And he also said we need to execute and catch the ball. I asked him if any chance of seeing Michael Vick. He said it's not ruled out. You might see him.
All right, thanks, Goose. So Rex Ryan did not rule it out. Catches made by Calvin Johnson. We heard Michael Strahan at halftime. He said Michael Vick gives the Jets the best chance to win. As we take a look at the second catch today by Johnson, pulls it in with the right hand.
You know, talking about Michael Vick, and me and Darryl were talking during halftime, he's not, I don't think Geno Smith is the problem right now. I think they need to catch the ball and start executing on offense. But you never know what we could see.
New set of downs for the Lions. This is Bell, who turns the corner and is out of bounds at the 26-yard line. No gain.
The big thing the Lions did in the first half was just play a really good style of complementary football. I mean, all 3 phases working in conjunction with each other. You know, it was a tough first half. It's a physical first half. Tony's talked about these defenses, especially the fronts on both of these teams. It's going to be a hard day. It's going to be difficult to move the ball. You're going to have to be opportunistic. And it was a great job by Detroit at the end of that first half. All 3 phases working together to get those touchdowns to get to 17-3.
Johnson back on the sidelines. Second down and 10. Bush in the backfield. Stafford in trouble. Down at the 25.
Now this is the second time they've had somebody free right at Matthew Stafford. It's going to come right off the edge. Jaquan Jarrett's going to come off that edge unblocked. That's twice in a row. And Matthew Stafford told us that it's going to be pressure, and then there's going to be the illusion of pressure, and trying to figure out what exactly it is that Rex Ryan is trying to do with that. And Dennis Thurman, at that time, the defensive coordinator, are they actually bringing the pressure? Are they showing it they're going to drop into coverage?
Joe and Landry split the sack. 4th for the Jets today.
Looks like you're getting some pressure right here on the outside.
Here they come. 3rd down and 11. As Stafford fires downfield. Walls on the coverage. Corey Fuller, the intended receiver.
Darren Walls does a nice job. There's your pressure coming from the right side. You can see the 4 guys lined up there. Jaquan Jarrett again. They get it sorted out, get the guard out on him. They get a shot one-on-one down the field. But Darren Walls, stride for stride. Little check there at the end. Corey Fuller wanting illegal contact or pass interference at the end of that.
That's tough for a quarterback. Darryl talked about the illusion. Guys just being up on the line of scrimmage, the possibility of them bringing the pressure makes the quarterback get rid of that ball faster.
Powell on the return for the Jets. Down to the 27. Queensboro Bridge, the UN on the left. Jets trail by 2 touchdowns. Early third quarter, Geno Smith remains in at quarterback, and that pass deflects off the hands of Ivory.
Well, we saw that pass that was elevated a little bit earlier in the first half. And that was not even catchable, I think, on that one.
Let's see if this gets a little tip at the line of scrimmage. Now it's up and over. That just sails over the top. But
there's plenty of time, too, in the pocket. Both feet were on the ground. Just got to make a better throw.
Jets still without wide receiver David Nelson. Suffered an ankle injury in the first half. Smith to the outside. It's Jeremy Curley who hauls it in at the 29-yard line. Wrapped up by Darius Slay. Short gain of just 3. Setting up 3rd down and 7 for Marty Mornhinweg's Jets offense. Only 1 first down since their opening drive.
And 33 plays up until this point. We've started out with 2 passes here, so 15 attempts on the day, but really never giving Geno Smith the opportunity to stretch the field. I think we're looking at a trust issue right now.
3rd down and 7. As Smith fires, and the catch is made for a first down out at the 47-yard line by Eric Decker, an 18-yard completion.
It's a nice route by Eric Decker. Coming from the outside, pushing, breaking to the corner, and then coming right back to the ball. Delivered on time. Good throw that time by Geno Smith.
Longest play on offense for the Jets today. Now on first down, it's Johnson. Not much. Over Quinn in on the tackle. 2nd down and 9 upcoming. Chris Johnson, 6,000-yard seasons for the Tennessee Titans. Johnson remains in the backfield. 2nd down and 9. 3 wide receivers set from the 48. Smith back to the pocket and throws, and it's off the hand of Curley with Glover Quinn on the coverage.
And we've got to get some separation by the receivers on these routes. Chris Johnson does a nice job, comes across the formation and picks up Isa Abdul-Quddus on the blitz. You've got all the time. You've got man coverage. Just got to get more separation on these routes.
This defensive secondary is doing a great job of taking away Geno Smith's first read on these pass plays. He's having a hard time going and finding the 2nd and 3rd receivers.
3rd down and 9. Jets have not been across midfield since the opening drive. Smith on 3rd down. There is a flag. Pass was intended for Greg Salas. Rasheem Mathis on the coverage.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, number 31, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Working at the bottom of your screen, one-on-one. We'll see the contact after 5 yards. Yeah, we've seen it back and forth during the, you go back to the first 2 weeks of preseason, then the last 2 weeks, and now the first 4 weeks of the regular season. I still think they're trying to get to the point on some of those calls that were points of emphasis early on.
So the Jets now in Lions territory as they set up the screen to Johnson. And he is hauled down at the 41-yard line by Newark, New Jersey native Tamir Whitehead. Gain of 6 for Johnson.
And Tamir. That doesn't do it any justice, I'll tell you what. I heard that hit, boy. I heard air come out of somebody.
And you're 50 yards away, Goose. 2nd down and 4. Go right back to Johnson. And he's bottled up right at the line of scrimmage at the 41.
These defensive tackles inside for the Detroit Lions. That time it was Nick Fairley. They are so quick up the field. It is so hard for the inside players on the Jets offensive line, Brian Winters, Nick Mangle, Willie Colon, to be able to get those blockbacks on Ndamukong Suh and Nick Fairley. They're so explosive up the field.
3rd down and 4.
There's that illusion of a blitz right
Full
there.
start, number 68, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's the right tackle, Breno Giacomini.
You know, all of a sudden you get everybody on that line of scrimmage. Those offensive linemen start talking. They get a little bit of nervous, and then they forget the snap count. That's exactly what happened right there. Intimidation, Darryl.
Well, whatever it is, it takes you out of a good 3rd down situation, puts you in a tough one right here. He's got to be able to sit in.
3rd down and 9. Jets must get to the 37. Smith backpedaling, throws off his back foot, hits Salas for a 1st down and more. Greg Salas takes it all the way down inside the Detroit 20 to the 14-yard line. A 32-yard pass play.
Greg Salas coming from the right side on the shallow crossing route. Darius Slay goes for the strip. Greg Salas gets it into the outside arm, prevents that. You've got to have the secured tackle first, then go for the strip. Good fundamentals by Greg Salas getting that ball to the outside arm.
Biggest play of the day for the Jets offensively. Back in the red zone. From the 14 on 1st down, Smith to the end zone looking for Decker. Incomplete.
Eric Decker working against Rashean Mathis. Doesn't bite on the double move. He goes up, almost makes a tremendous catch, but can't finish it with the one hand.
Decker has been a force in the red zone last year's with Denver. 18 red zone touchdowns, most in the entire league. 2nd and 10. It's Ivory.
I tell you, Gino finished the 1st half with a big hit from the Detroit Lions, and he's starting the 2nd half with another big hit. You're going to watch the end of this play on that throw. You're holding the ball down around the legs. Kind of an awkward hit.
So now the Jets facing 3rd down and 7. Remember last Monday against Chicago, just 1 touchdown and 6 red zone trips. Held to a field goal earlier today. Smith on 3rd and 7 throws. It's Decker for the 1st down and the touchdown.
It's a nice, efficient drive. Eric Decker on the motion. You're going to have Bilal Powell go out to the flat. He just shuts it down in that little zone. I love the finish by Eric Decker in that situation.
Extra effort.
Yeah,
Excellent.
2.5, 3 yards out, and he was not going to be denied.
Your wife sings the national anthem, then you score a touchdown. 2nd of the season for Decker. Folk has the extra point. Jets helped out by the illegal contact penalty on 3rd down. And then Geno Smith finds Eric Decker. Jets pull it into 7. Jets drive 11 plays, 74 yards, perfect on 3rd down, and then Smith to Decker.
Yeah, and you mentioned the big one by penalty on the illegal contact gets him down there. So, gosh, an offense that was completely inept since that opening drive to start the game finally finds their rhythm again. Now, Marty Mornhinweg has to build on that drive. Allow Geno Smith a little bit of room to earn your trust.
Ross bobbled it, now takes it out of the end zone. And Ross is brought down inside the 10. Terrific job on special teams. Philip Adams with the first contact. Smith finds Decker, and the Jets celebrate. Jets have the Lions pinned deep for Detroit, their worst starting field position today. From the 10, leading by 7. Stafford hands it off. It's Bush.
We mentioned how well the Lions played complementary football at the end of the first half, and the Jets have that same opportunity here. Geno Smith takes the offense down for the touchdown. Tremendous job on special teams with that kickoff coverage to get you inside right at the 10-yard line. Now, can this Jets defense come out, force a 3 and out, and get that offense back on the field with the stadium behind him?
Second down and 9. Calvin Johnson split wide to the right. Fans on their feet here at MetLife. Stafford on second down. Throws to the far side. It's Bush. But he is out of bounds. Inside the 10. Loss of a yard on the play.
Yeah, Reggie's been quiet pretty much all day. As a back and as a receiver also.
Clock at 2. Lions get the snap away in time. Third down and 10. Pass is bobbled and then gathered in by Golden Tate. And Tate is out to the 21-yard line for a Lions first down, quieting the crowd. 11-yard pass play.
Yeah, they weren't going to let anybody get over the top on that one. They had their safeties way back. That allowed Golden Tate to work underneath one-on-one versus Kyle Williams. Good job getting in and out of that break and then concentrating and finishing that catch. That was a big conversion on 3rd and long.
Great concentration by Golden Tate getting that ball in. Bobbled it there for a little while.
Now Tate and Johnson to the sidelines. First and 10 for the Lions. 5.5 remaining, third quarter. On first down, the handoff, it's Jordan Bell. Bell up the middle, gains a couple.
You have to remember, this is just, the 4th game that this Lions offense has been playing in this new system brought in by Joe Lombardi and Jim Caldwell. And Matthew Stafford told us it's kind of a role-based offense. We're still all kind of searching for what the roles are going to be. You mentioned the touches with Reggie Bush. It varies from week to week by opponent, which person, which formation, which personnel group is going to be featured that day.
Bush in the backfield on 2nd and 9. Quick release, and the slant is off the hand of Tate. Antonio Allen on the coverage. 3rd down and 9 coming up.
And Darryl, you have a great memory about when you played back in the day, getting that new offense put in with Jimmy. That first year, you guys struggled, but the more time you guys put in, you got better and better. It became a dynasty.
You find your role. And I thought Matthew made a very valid point, finding that role.
And he's playing for an offensive head coach for the first time in his NFL career after 5 years under Jim Schwartz. Third down and 9. Stafford to Bush. And Reggie Bush leans forward. He is close to a first down. Needed to get to the 31. Bush able to lean forward and does, in fact, pick up a first down.
A good finish at the end of that play by Reggie Bush to get those yards necessary for the first down. They were going to have him about 1.5 yards short. That's Demario Davis, too, number 56. One of your sure tacklers out there.
You got some help from his right guard, Larry Warford.
Yeah, he sort of gave him a big shove to get him over that line.
Lions started from their 10-yard line. Stafford's pass is caught and taken out to the 44 for another first down. Golden Tate. Jarrett made the tackle, a gain of 12.
He had a good start to the game, and then he kind of disappeared. We had him early on making plays, and now right now, because of what the Jets are doing, they're hitting this quick little slant from the slot, and it's Golden Tate on the left side, on the right side, just the quickness in and out of that break.
6 receptions, 91 yards for Tate, following 4 seasons in Seattle. Three wide receivers, Bell in the backfield. From the 44-yard line. Stafford to the outside. It's Tate once again, his 7th reception. Gain of 8, time for a game break. Joel Klatt. Joel?
All right, Kenny, let's go out down to Houston and find that man, J.J. Watt, number 99. Picks off B.J. Manuel. He's going to go the distance. His 2nd touchdown of the year, 14-10 Texans. I haven't seen hands like that on a defensive lineman since Tony Saragusa.
You're darn right.
How about that shout-out from Joel Goose?
I appreciate that, Joel.
2nd down and 2. This is Joy Bell, and he is stopped. So the Lions now facing a 3rd and 2 as time winds down in this 3rd quarter, leading by 7.
I tell you, it is just tough sledding inside, running the football against both of these defenses. You got Jed Collins, big fullback, leading the way on Joy Bell, a physical runner, and they lose 1.5 yards.
The one thing I would be conscious of right here as a defensive lineman, if you go and you see Matthew Stafford up underneath the center, they've had a great push on a quarterback sneak.
He is under center, Goose. Bell in the backfield, off the fake to Bell. Stafford sets and throws, and a diving catch is made for a 1st down. It's Ryan Broyles. His 1st reception of the season, did not play in the Lions' first 3 games, 3rd season out of Oklahoma, and Broyles picks up 21.
Yeah, this is really nice. This is a clear-out route by Eric Ebron on the left side, and Ryan Broyles crosses the field coming from the right. If he'd have caught that in stride, I don't know why he felt he had to leave his feet, but he got some good help from Joy Bell. He was hustling down to keep the first defender off, but if he hits that with the ability to run after catch, that's even going to be a bigger play.
63 yards on the drive for the Lions. 11th play of the drive. It's Bell up the middle, inside the 20 to the 18. Brought down from behind by David Harris, gain of 9.
This has been a nice response by the Detroit Lions offense. Remember, go back to that 3rd and long in that first set of downs on this drive when Golden Tate does the conversion. They've really gotten into a very efficient mode here offensively after that.
Just eating the clock up, too. Hiring that defense out, and the Jets offense off the field. That's what the offense wants to do.
2nd down and 1. Golden Tate picks up the first, keeps on going inside the 5, and dragged out of the 2 by DeJuan Landry.
You can see why they wanted to get Golden Tate in here to the Detroit Lions. This is very simple. This is just, we've got a one-on-one on the outside. Look at number 15, the bottom of your screen. I'm just coming to you. I'm going to let you go one-on-one on the outside with Darren Walls and see what you can do.
4th career 100-yard receiving game for Tate.
Man, he's got to wrap up. Walls has got to do a way better job of going and making that a minimal advance.
Ryan sent in an extra blocker, 64, Travis Swanson. First and goal from the 2. This is Bell pushing forward. And he is down inside the 1. And that takes us to the end of the 3rd quarter. So the teams must march 99 yards downfield. Lions leading by 7, looking to increase that lead. Big 3rd down conversions. First it was Golden Tate.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's what got this whole drive started. 3rd and 10, great effort here by Reggie Bush. 3rd and 9, he was about 1.5 yards, 2 yards short. Good effort to convert there. And then on a 3rd and 2, Ryan Broyles with the catch pops up after that to get some more yards. So the Golden Tate play huge. The Jets had scored. Their kickoff coverage team had put the Lions at about the 10-yard line. Facing 3rd and 10 would have been a huge stop for that defense, but Matthew Stafford and Golden Tate convert on 3rd and 10.
Again, Swanson, 64, in as an extra blocker on the left side. 2 tight ends set. First play of the 4th quarter. 2nd and goal. Off the fake to Bell. Stafford looking for the pylon. He's in. Touchdown.
Little play action. He's looking for his fullback, Jed Collins, in the flat. As he gets out on the perimeter, he recognizes he's going to have an opportunity to beat the defense to the pylon.
Remember, every scoring play is automatically reviewed. Matthew Stafford, if it stands, it will be his second rushing touchdown this season, 11th of his career.
Take a look right here, see if he's in bounds all the way as he gets to that pylon. Yeah, it looks like he steps right on top of the pylon with that left foot. Some fancy feet right there by Matthew Stafford.
So Walt Coleman will take a look in communication with Dean Blandino at the NFL office, 15 miles from here.
And they'll be looking at all the same angles that we're looking at, correct there, Lenny?
Looking at the angles that we show you.
It has been a little bit more efficient than this earlier in the season.
With scoring plays and turnovers automatically reviewed, there have only been 26 coaches' challenges over the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's got that left foot inside the pylon. Right foot clips the pylon.
After reviewing the play, the running on the field stands. Touchdown.
So Matthew Stafford with 2 touchdown passes in the second quarter, runs one in. A 14-play, 90-yard drive, longest drive of the season for this Lions offense.
Well, they're a different style of offense, and we've talked about the changes, but I mean, you go back to last week, 7 minutes, they took the last 6:54 off the clock versus the Green Bay Packers. This team is capable of doing this week after week.
Henry adds the extra point. So the Lions extend their lead. It is now 24-10 Detroit. Lady Liberty with the Lions leading the Jets 24-10 early fourth quarter. Remember, we saw some blood on that right wrist of Stafford earlier, getting it taped up. He was nearly perfect on that drive.
That's an impressive drive. I mean, the Jets were poised to really steal the momentum, and that 90-yard drive by the Lions was a thing of beauty. It has absolutely quieted this crowd down here.
And that followed a 74-yard drive by the Jets offense. Geno Smith and the Jets back on offense, down by 2 touchdowns. Jets in the midst of a real tough schedule. The last 2 weeks they've lost to Aaron Rodgers and Jay Cutler, facing Matthew Stafford today. The next 3 weeks, Jets will go against Phillip Rivers, Peyton Manning, and then finish it out against Tom Brady. Over 216,000 career passing yards, 123 miles. The length of the New Jersey Turnpike, just under 123. And Goose, I know you've paid every toll through the years.
That would cost them a lot of money going from one end to the other on the Turnpike.
Trailing by 2 touchdowns here in the fourth quarter as Ivory takes it out to the 28-yard line.
And now it's up for the Jets offense to come out and match what the Detroit Lions offense just did. You've got to come out and put together a heck of a drive. This guy's leaving it all on the field today, Goose.
Both sides, both sides.
Second down and 2. Smith under pressure, rolling right, chased by Ndamukong Suh. Did he step out of bounds before?
I tell you what, Kenny, he got awful close, didn't he? And that's one of those things. It's not there, just throw it away. They've given you outs in the NFL as a quarterback. Just throw it beyond the line of scrimmage, in the field of play, outside the field of play. But he gets dangerously close right here to stepping out of bounds before he makes that decision.
And just got the pass away in time.
Tell you what, he's got some quick feet and good moves down here on the field, Geno Smith.
Third down and 2. And Ivory picks up the first.
Man, he's always falling forward, huh, Darryl?
Yeah, but you know what? We've seen him run with so much power. That was a great example of some really good feet. I mean, there was nothing there on his original path and just a little jump cut to get that first down.
Yeah, and then he spins off the tackler right there, gets an extra yard and a half.
He led the Jets in rushing a season ago. 85 yards on the ground today. From the 31 on first down. Smith to a wide open Greg Salas, and he is across midfield, down the sidelines, takes it all the way to the Detroit 41. A 28-yard pickup for Salas.
Working from the right side. Right now they're getting some good play on the crossing route. You can see the bubble that Darius Slay had to run. You've got double crossers, so you've got a route coming from the left side going to the right, and here comes Greg Salas right to left, and they force Darius Slay in man-to-man coverage to run that bubble.
Salas had a 32-yard reception earlier, 28 on that one. Jets still without David Nelson. As Smith throws it across the field, and Ivory cannot.
There's a 20-yard play that they just botched. Chris Ivory has lots of room to run, and he's got a blocker downfield. This is an opportunity for a huge play, and this is one of the things that you got to work on. Look down the field. You make this catch. Look, you've got your one player downfield, Jeremy Curley, he's going to block his guy. You're going to have Chris Ivory one-on-one with the boundary to his disposal.
Well, missed opportunity for the Jets. Now 2nd and 10, and the play is blown dead. False start.
False start, number 68, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Giacomini's second penalty today to Los Angeles. Joel Klatt. Joel?
All right, Kenny, let's take you out to Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger in a tie ball game, driving the Steelers down the field, and he finds Heath Miller for the 5-yard score, and the Steelers are up 24-17. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Thanks, Joel. Pittsburgh looking to win for the 3rd time in 4 games. Lions leading the Jets by 14. Early 4th quarter following the penalty. 2nd down and 15. Smith with time. He fires, and it is picked off. The first turnover of the game, and brought all the way back down the sidelines by Darius Slay.
And this one just sails on him. It's going to end up going to the safety in the back end. But he's got Jeremy Curley's open in the flat right there. He's going to the middle of the field. It sails on him right into the waiting arms of Darius Slay.
His first career interception. Smith took a hard hit as he got rid of the football from Ziggy Ansah, and then a 42-yard return by Slay.
These are the turnovers, Darryl, you talked about in the open that you can't have that will just go and put your team in a bad situation. That's exactly what happened.
And now the crowd chanting Lewan Vick. As Stafford hands it off, it's Bush down to the 32-yard line for a gain of 2.
And maybe even bigger, you get the pass to Chris Ivory before the interception, and he's got that whole sideline to work with one of his teammates downfield to block. And, he has 5 in the 3 games prior to this one coming in. He had 7 last year. You want them to take that next step. We've seen young quarterbacks come into the league and struggle the first year. Peyton Manning had 29 picks as a rookie. Andrew Luck, 23. But they get it figured out. They take that next step. They grow and mature, and that's what they're waiting for with Geno Smith. And it's going to have to happen quickly if he's going to stay in the lineup.
And 21 interceptions last season as a rookie as Bush is brought down. Nice tackle by Antonio Allen back at the 34-yard line.
Well, it's bad decisions, Darryl, like we saw in the first half also. He had an opportunity to go and run for the first down to keep a drive going, and he missed that opportunity just like he missed this one here.
Jets with winnable game 2 weeks ago in Green Bay. They led by 18. Came back on Monday night after falling behind 14-0. Made it a 1-score game against the Bears. And trailed the Lions by 2 touchdowns. 3 straight games for the Jets against NFC North opponents. Bush wasn't ready for that one. So the Lions will send out the field goal unit. Alex Henry hit from 51 earlier, and this will be a 51 or a 52-yard attempt early in the 4th.
Just late getting that head around. It's right on top of Reggie Bush there. And have an opportunity to run after the catch with that with the placement.
Officially 52 yards from the left hash. No chance. So Henry signed this week. 1 of 2 today. Both attempts from 50 plus. Following the missed field goal, Jets with terrific starting field position from their 42-yard line. Catch is made by Chase Amaro. And he takes it into Lions territory for a Jets first down. Gain of 13. So the Lions leading by 14 and the Jets on the move. Lions have not blown a 14-point lead since November of '90. And the Jets last came back from 14 down in October of 2001. It's been a while. From the Lions 45, Smith over the top, it's Johnson. And Chris Johnson leans forward, picks up the Jets first down.
Well, that missed field goal doesn't seem like much, but I think in the first half when Alex Henry hits the 51-yarder, all of a sudden Detroit fans are like, hey, finally we got this thing resolved. Nate Freese, they didn't have one beyond 40 yards. It's just devastating to an offense that moves the ball and loses point. Making that field goal makes this a 3-possession game, so that was a big miss.
Now Smith hit as he throws. It was James Ahenebo, the former Jet, with the hit on Geno Smith. So it is the Jets' second fourth quarter turnover.
I think Kenny's already calling for another quarterback, Goose.
Yeah, they're calling it here in the stands. I don't know, was his arm going forward when that ball came out?
That's the question. No, it looks like the force of Ihedio's hit is what drove the hand forward, so Geno Smith had not started his throwing motion.
Smith talking about it with Marty Mornhinweg. One of the points of emphasis for the Jets this week, cut down on turnovers, and they did not turn the ball over the first 3 quarters. So the interception by Slay, and now the fumble on the hit by James Ahenebo.
The previous play will be reviewed.
So Walt Coleman will take a look at it.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Detroit's ball, first down.
All turnovers automatically reviewed. You heard from Walt Coleman. Now we say hello to Mike Pereira. Mike, what did you think?
I think clearly this is one where the ruling on the field stands because it's so close either way. Watch the hand. The ball just moves a bit in the hand there, and I think that means you can't turn it over, and that's the true meaning that stands. If they'd have called this an incomplete forward pass, they would have stayed with that. They called it a fumble. They have to stay with that also.
All right, thanks, Mike. Stafford hands it off to Reggie Bush, who spins out across the 40 to the 42-yard line, gain of 4. So the Jets have now turned it over on back-to-back possessions.
Quick update, guys. Number 35, Joique Bell. He's getting evaluated for a head injury. Theo Riddick, number 25, and Montel Owens are both out with hamstrings.
All right, thanks, Goose.
Everything falls to Reggie Bush to finish this one out then, Goose.
All by himself.
And the Jets without safety Calvin Pryor, the rookie out of Louisville, thigh injury. Second down and 6 off the fake to Bush. Stafford under pressure, throws it away. Not get it back to the line of scrimmage.
They got to be on the line of scrimmage. Was he outside the pocket?
It looked like he was outside the pocket. Let's take one more look.
Pretty close. That tackle was on the hash mark. He's got to be outside that hash, that far hash.
No flag.
Quarterback was out of the pocket.
And now the Lions will take a timeout. First Detroit timeout of the second half. They lead by 14 once again to Los Angeles for a game break. Joel.
All right, Kenny, let's go to Chicago. The 20th interception in Jay Cutler's career against the Packers took place. Rodgers goes right down the field, makes it 38-17 Pack. What was Rodgers telling the Cheeseheads this week? Relax.
So all Green Bay. Jets' last two opponents, Packers and Lions, and it's 38-17 Green Bay as the Packers look to win for the second time this season. If the Packers win and the Lions win, Detroit would hold first place all alone after 4 weeks. Third down and 6. Stafford's pass over the head of Ryan Broyles, caught on the sidelines by the backup quarterback, Dan Orlovsky. So the Lions will punt it away, leading by 14.
And we've complimented the Lions on that drive, that 90-yard drive that they put together after the Jets had scored with tough field position after the kick. But they've had a couple series now to really show us that they really have become a different style of offense, a different style of team, and you could really kind of put this game away.
Martin's punt is taken at the 12 by Powell. Walter Powell out to the 25, 7-yard return. 45 on the kick. Ivory and the Jets trailing by 2 touchdowns. 9:25 remaining fourth quarter with the Lions leading 24-10. Geno Smith has turned the ball over on each of the last 2 Jets possessions. Now Smith throws, and the pass incomplete. Intended for Salas.
Well, let's take a look at the quarterbacks, and the big thing there down at the bottom, you know, the other stuff obviously slanted to Matthew Stafford, but he doesn't have the interception, and you have to put the fumble in also on that last series for Geno Smith.
From the 25 on second down. Smith throws, and the catch is made at the 34-yard line by Amaro for a gain of 9. So many of the Jets players over the last week said we've played well enough to have won all 3 games, but in reality, they lost the last 2 to Green Bay and Chicago. Trailing by 14 here today as Smith picks up a first.
Oh, Rex Ryan, I mean, it's the cold hard fact. You know, the turnovers are costing us games, and it's in a very similar situation right now with 8:40 to go here in the fourth quarter and down 14. We've had a lot of free snaps on the offensive line as well.
False start, number 60. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's the left tackle to Brickashaw Ferguson.
Now, margin for error, when you've got a young quarterback and he's trying to develop, you know, your margin for error is much smaller than teams that have established quarterbacks, and it just puts pressure on. You can't have the penalty. You can't have the turnover.
On first and 15, complete to Chris Ivory. Ivory takes it out to the 39. Gain of 8. So it's Smith's 20th career start. Jets went 8-8 last year, and you know so many of the questions post-game and throughout this week are going to be about the Jets quarterback position. 2nd and 7. Into Lions territory for a first down. It's Amaro to the Detroit 40.
And it's well-deserved to have that discussion because it's the same problem that keeps popping up. And you've got to be able to take that step and move ahead. Jason Amaro, they've got to find a way to get him more involved. He is a big target down the field.
Nick Fairley limped off following the last play as Chris Johnson gained 6 down to the Lions 34. And Michael Vick has said all the right things. Huge supporter of Geno Smith. They've spent a lot of time together, but he also says, of course, I'd love to play again and will at some point.
And he knows what it's like. He's been in that exact same position where they've questioned Michael Vick as the starter and looked for the backup.
How about Chris Johnson? He takes it all the way for a Jets touchdown. 35 yards.
Breakaway speed. He's stopped cold right in his tracks and finds a crease. They don't finish the tackle. Next thing you know, he's running into the end zone. Looks like he stopped right there all of a sudden. Nobody else running through the ball. They thought they had him down. He does a really nice job of just keeping his feet driving. Chris Johnson goes and gets himself 6 points.
His first rushing touchdown as a Jet. Second score of the season. Folk adds the extra point. It's a one-possession game. Chris Johnson into the end zone, 35-yard touchdown run for the Jets, who go 7 plays, 75 yards, pulled to within 7.
Let's see if the Detroit Lions have another one of those game-ending drives that they've already done twice this season. Last week, very impressive against the Green Bay Packers, 6:54, and they ran the clock out. The offense never came off the field.
Lions will start from their 20, just under 7 minutes on the clock. Matthew Stafford, 3 touchdowns today, 2 through the air. Jeremy Ross in the second quarter. Eric Ebron. And then he ran one in early in the fourth.
He took advantage of a big mistake by the Jets secondary on that first one. They got behind coverage, and he made him pay for that. Really liked the throw to Eric Ebron. That was well placed.
Now, Reggie Bush is the only running back that they have. Their other 2 running backs are out with hamstrings.
The give to Bush. Bush finds a hole, gains 5.
And that's going to be big, Tony, because last week it was a combination of Joique Bell and Reggie Bush that helped them put that game away against the Packers.
I think the one guy you really got to go and concentrate on is Golden Tate. I mean, he's made some huge plays to keep drives going. That's just going to be his go-to guy as far as Matt Stafford, I think.
Damon Harrison is down. There's Golden Tate. Goose, you were just talking about him.
Yeah, even on that little screen, man. Went, lowered his head, got the first down.
He was the one with
And
the play, the 3rd and 10. I mean, that's like the play of the game. If the Lions hang on here and win this game, you know, that was a huge one.
Jets nose tackle Damon Harrison shaken up on the last play.
Well, let's see what we see here.
New York is challenging the ruling on the field of down by contact.
Yeah, you can see right there at the end.
Jets coaches had some extra time to look at the replays during the injury timeout. So Rex Ryan challenging whether or not Bush was down by contact.
Reggie Bush, was he on top of players? Was he on the pile? So his knee, no part of his body besides his hand, touches the ground. Is he not down at that point as the ball is ripped from his hands by Sheldon Richardson?
His helmet looks like it touched the ground there at one point.
It was ruled down by the officials. And Rex Ryan has challenged the play.
You take a look at his helmet right here. It's going to hit the turf before his body does.
Helmet is Down right there.
Right there, yeah. The ball's not out yet, so.
I think similar to what Mike Pereira said about the fumble by Geno Smith, you know, if there's not enough information to change this, it's going to stay as called on the field. And Mike is joining us right now. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. You know, there's such a thing as too much information, but I don't think that's the case here. The one interesting thing is you don't usually see it where the helmet puts you down first, but that does put him down. The question's going to become, can you get a clear look as to when the ball comes out before the helmet hits the ground? I will say one thing. There is a clear recovery. You can see that the Jets ended up with the ball, but did he actually take away the ball, strip it out of his hands before the helmet hit? Pretty hard to tell. And again, that helmet's the first thing that's down. To me, if I have to look at it this long, I'd leave it as it was called on the field.
Next, Mike, here's Walt Coleman.
After reviewing the play, the ring on the field stands.
So the call stands. Lions will maintain possession.
The Jets will be charged with their first team timeout.
Rex Ryan does not agree. 2nd and 4 for the Lions. Number 99, T.J. Barnes, is in for Damon Harrison. Stafford on 2nd down. It's Bush.
I don't think he's ever gotten a lot of credit. It was late in his career with the New Orleans Saints where all of a sudden he stopped trying to make people miss. He stopped trying to beat everybody to the edge, and he just decided to be more of a complete running back. And since that time, he's become a pretty physical runner. We've talked about Joique Bell being the physical runner. We've talked about Chris Ivory for the Jets being a physical runner, but Reggie Bush has really evolved into, you know, a tough back to defend, not just with his speed and breakaway, but his physical style at the end of the game.
Bush and Ivory, teammates in New Orleans. 3rd down and 1. It looks like the Jets defense does their job. Jarrett and Landry coming up to make the tackle.
A really good job by both of the safeties, not allowing Reggie Bush to tumble and roll for the necessary yards for the first down. Watch him come up and fill right here. Jaquan Jarrett with the big play right there to make sure.
Rob Sims, the left guard, tries to get around that defensive line. Does a great job of penetrating and going and knocking off some guys and make them linebackers free to go and make that play.
Jarrett in for the injured Pryor. He's made some nice plays.
He really has. Had some pressures coming off the edge in the blitz package.
So the Lions offense has stalled since their 90-yard touchdown drive. They've gained only 13 yards in 3 possessions. Powell back deep. So the Jets trailing by 7. Will get the ball back. Fair catch is called for at the 17 with 4:36 remaining. We head to Los Angeles for a game break. Take it away, Joel Klatt.
All right, Kenny, first of all, congrats to the Detroit fans. The Tigers clinched the AL Central today. And then after your game, we're going to take you out to San Francisco. It's the Eagles. It's the 49ers. It's America's Game of the Week. It's next, and it's on Fox, Kenny.
All right, thanks, Joel. We look forward to it. Congrats to Mike Pereira, hole-in-one earlier this week.
It's still up for debate. We haven't really got a lot of confirmation. A lot of rules questions going around through the group.
Yeah, he was by himself golfing. I don't know.
All right, here we go. Jets start from the 16. Geno Smith and the Jets trailing by 7. Catches made by Amaro. Amaro fends off the first tackle attempt by Glover Quinn and takes it out to the 25-yard line for a gain of 9.
Good job fighting to get out of bounds. You never know when you're going to need or how many you're going to need at the end. Those timeouts are very valuable to be able to get across that field and preserve the 2 that you have left.
They lost the 1 timeout on the challenge, the unsuccessful challenge. They give to Ivory, and he is bottled up. The Head of Bowles played a strong game. His First game of the season for the Lions, the ex-Jet. So now the Jets, as the clock continues to run, 4:10 remaining, facing a 3rd down and 2. Smith on 3rd down. It's Ivory, and again he is unable to make the catch.
He's too quick there, though. He's got Eric Decker on the deeper route. Everybody jumped up and came for Chris Ivory. That opened things up for Eric Decker down the field.
Couple of drops by Ivory today. So the Jets go 3 and out. Punted away with 3:49 remaining. Their catch is called for by Ross at the 25. 3:41 on the clock. Well, the greatest month in sports begins on Friday with Game 1 of the NLDS on Fox Sports 1. Then Saturday, it's 4th-ranked Oklahoma taking on TCU on Fox, and UFC Fight Night on Fox Sports 1. Next Sunday on Fox, Peyton Manning and the Broncos take on the Cardinals, plus other regional action. Foxtoberfest begins Friday, continues all month long on Fox, Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Oh, the Jets defense did a nice job on the last Lions possession. 3:41 remaining. Detroit starts from their 25. It's Reggie Bush. Bush finds a hole. Gains 5 out to the 30.
Well, we talked about what the Lions have been able to do at the end of the game, being able to put this away with their offense, taking the time off the clock, missed an opportunity on that last drive. Let's see what they do here. It's a good start on 1st down.
Damon Harrison has returned for the Jets. Lions using the play clock. Game clock approaches 3 minutes. Jets have 2 timeouts. Play clock winding down. This is Bush, breaks a tackle, picks up a 1st down, and more. Stays on his feet, finally tackled by Landry at the 46. So Reggie Bush able to gain 16 yards.
This is great vision during the cadence by Reggie Bush. Your defender's going to come in from the right side on the blitz. He sees him coming the whole way, sells him a little bit to the left, and then bounces right back where the blitzer came from.
Does a nice job of staying in bounds, keep that clock running also.
Made a move on Landry. And because Bush stayed in bounds, Goose, the Jets now forced to use their 2nd timeout with 2:38 remaining. So the Detroit Lions, who came in with a record of 2-1, fell behind early. That long drive by the Jets, but this offense now trying to wind the clock down and finish off the game.
The big thing that people are going to talk about, there were no points off the turnovers that the Jets committed here late in the game, but the big thing is you miss opportunities for a possession, and I think that that's really one of the things that Geno Smith is trying to learn right now. When he was at West Virginia, you're running 90-plus plays a number of times during the course of the season. You know, possessions are more frequent than they are at the NFL level, so there's a value not only on the play, but especially the possession. So those were 2 missed opportunities for this offense late in the game to get back into the game. So even though there were no points off them, the Jets were also not allowed to try and get back and get this game tied up.
Right, it allowed the Lions to take some very important time off the clock into Jets territory. It's Bush to the New York 47. Gain of 6.
I just remember the first time that you really started to talk to quarterbacks about the value of a possession. It was Drew Brees telling us how important they were and the way that they managed them during the course of the game. It was a big part of it that he and Sean Payton looked at. And some of these younger guys, because it's such a wide open college style, I think they struggle with the value of a possession at the NFL level when they start their careers.
We have hit the 2-minute warning here at MetLife Stadium, with the Lions leading the Jets by 7. We welcome those of you who just joined us. Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa from MetLife Stadium. 2 minutes remaining. Detroit Lions with the football, leading the New York Jets 24-17. Matthew Stafford has thrown 2 touchdown passes. Also ran in for a score. And now it is Stafford who slides and picks up a Lions first down.
That is such a nice play call by Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator for the Lions. In this situation, you're just thinking run, 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 and the naked bootleg out the back door.
Clock continues to run. Jets have only 1 timeout, so the Lions will be able to take the clock all the way down. Stafford takes a knee. So the Detroit Lions will beat the New York Giants week 1. The Packers at home last week. Jets use their final timeout. Packers have beaten the Bears. So Green Bay and Chicago both 2-2. We'll have bonus coverage for you coming up. Steelers and the Buccaneers. First-year head coach Jim Caldwell. His defense forced the Jets to punt 5 consecutive possessions in the first half. Stafford 3 touchdowns, and Calvin Johnson, who was limited during the week with a sprained ankle, on his day before his 29th birthday, on and off the field throughout the game, held to just 2 receptions, but his Lions are going to win for the 3rd time in 4 games this season.
It's another indicator that this is a different Lions team than previous seasons, because Calvin Johnson was always such a huge part of the offense that when he was not available to play, it was a tremendous impact for that team. And today, Golden Tate stepped up. He had a number of guys stepping up. Eric Ebron had a nice game today. People waiting for him to have some production. Reggie Bush, solid. So, you know, some other guys stepping up and making some plays for this offense with Calvin Johnson limited.
So the Lions go to 3-1, all alone in first place in the NFC North. As their September portion of their schedule comes to an end, they will host the Buffalo Bills next Sunday, while Rex Ryan's Jets fall to 1-3, their 3rd consecutive defeat against an NFC North squad. And the Jets will travel out to San Diego for a meeting with the Chargers next Sunday. For Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa, and our entire crew, Kenny Albert saying so long from MetLife. Now to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. Kurt.